Not the Right. I'm Natasha. Today's topic is Donald Trump and the privilege of being too white to fail. In America, the phrase too big to fail became infamous during the 2008 financial crisis, symbolizing the idea that certain institutions were so essential to the economy that they couldn't be allowed to collapse, regardless of their recklessness. Today, it's a different crisis, not economic, but moral, and it revolves around the concept that Donald Trump, a former president, is effectively too white to fail. The phrase too white to fail isn't simply a commentary on Trump's race. It points to the deep-seated privileges that whiteness affords in American society, especially for those in power. Even as Trump faces multiple legal challenges, he continues to enjoy levels of support and influence that would likely have crumbled long ago if he were a person of color. At the heart of this phenomenon are layers of racial privilege that many have turned a blind eye to or failed to acknowledge, which reflect a systemic imbalance in how justice, respect, and accountability are distributed across racial lines. The recent rally at Madison Square Garden is a testament to this phenomenon. Hundreds gathered to show their support, not just for Trump, but for an ideology that critics say openly flirts with racist rhetoric and exclusionary tactics. Throughout the event, some speakers made inflammatory remarks, casting minority groups and immigrants as threats to traditional American values. Instead of facing widespread condemnation or legal repercussions for openly divisive rhetoric, Trump and his supporters are protected by a cloak of mainstream acceptance that enables this kind of messaging. Imagine a scenario in which minority leaders spoke out in similar ways against white America. It's not difficult to foresee an avalanche of backlash, legal scrutiny, and national outcry. This rally was more than just an event. It was a reflection of how Trump supporters have turned a blind eye to racial antagonism, accepting it as part of the America First narrative. The audience, overwhelmingly white and nationalistic, cheered on messages of division, buoyed by a leader who they see as a symbol of their grievances, fears, and beliefs. Had this rally been attended by people of color promoting similar messages against whiteness, it would likely have faced police presence, dispersal, and charges of incitement. But once again, whiteness protects. It's also necessary to acknowledge the larger cultural machinery that facilitates this privilege. Media outlets, political pundits, and loyal followers regularly spin Trump's actions as bold or rebellious rather than criminal or unethical. When Trump and his surrogates rally around calls that threaten racial harmony or disparage entire groups, these actions are framed as free speech. But when activists of color advocate for racial justice or criticize systemic racism, they are often met with accusations of being anti-American or unpatriotic. The Madison Square Garden rally showcased a clear double standard. What is patriotic or rebellious for one group is framed as radical or dangerous for another. Furthermore, Trump's privilege reveals how some Americans have conflated whiteness with Americanness. His supporters often view his brand as synonymous with patriotism, and his whiteness becomes part of that brand, offering an unspoken assurance to his base that he stands for real American values. But this image is exclusionary by design, relegating non-white citizens to the sidelines of national identity. In Trump's America, those who look like him belong, those who don't face suspicion or hostility. Perhaps the most dangerous implication of Trump's too white to fail status is what it reveals about the American justice system. The multiple cases against Trump have been met with delays, deference, and, at times, outright hesitation to pursue full accountability. For many, this double standard isn't surprising. America has long been a place where the law works differently depending on who you are, a reality borne out in sentencing statistics, stop and frisk policies, and systemic racial profiling. Trump's ability to continue his political and public life, despite these challenges, only underscores the resilience of white privilege in America. The rally at Madison Square Garden served as a display of this privilege in real time, an arena packed with individuals who support him, no matter the cost, because they know that his whiteness shields him from the harshest consequences. It reflects a broader, troubling truth that in the United States, whiteness, particularly wealthy, powerful whiteness, often functions as a kind of immunity. If America wants to consider itself a true democracy, it must wrestle with these disparities. Trump's situation and the rally at Madison Square Garden force us to question why, in a nation that prides itself on equality under the law, certain people continue to be too white to fail. Until America addresses these racial and social inequities, justice will remain unequal, and accountability a privilege rather than a principle. Thank you for joining me today, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications about new content. See you Thursday!